Hey guys, Mike at Patriot Coin Rings here. Okay, so special thanks to Janice Gentry over in Tennessee. She had recently placed an order for a matching set for her and her husband on my sandblasted rings, and she wants rhodium plated on them. Now, I sell a lot of rose gold, so when I mill these out and then after I finish sandblasting them, I typically have a bulk supply in rose gold. That's going to be the most popular color that's sold. But I can do a number of different platings for you, like I'm doing for Janice, and we could do it in silver or platinum, rose gold, 24 karat gold, 18 karat gold, white gold, rhodium, a number of different things. And that's what we're going to be doing for Janice here. Is we're going to be doing a rhodium. Now, if you haven't seen a rhodium looks a lot like silver, a little bit more to the whitish area, like a really intense like platinum, but more mirrored than platinum, and it's going to look really nice. So let me show you what these look like. I've just finished these up, and these are really nice. They have a real nice smooth inside finish, and on the outside I've sandblasted these down. And what's really nice about that, and I wish the sun was out right now, and it's really not, so I could show you, but maybe up here, right here, I'll put a picture of what these look like in the sun. It almost looks like small diamonds all the way around, and it's just a very, very popular ring that everyone loves. Now, making it white gold is going to shimmer all the more. It's going to just be brilliant. So if you'd like to go ahead and follow along with us, we're going to plate these in rhodium for Janice. So let's go ahead and follow along together on this. Now, something that's really important here is preventing contamination. I've got a number of chemicals here for all the different platings, and it's real easy to accidentally cross-contaminate, where you're using, maybe I use nickel strike in this at one point and then gold in another, and that completely ruins a bottle that's, costs $1,500 a bottle. It's ridiculous. So the only two things I'm going to need is nickel strike and rhodium. So these are the two containers that I have marked for those two things, and that's the only things that ever go in those. So I'm going to go and set those aside. For nickel strike, we're going to use a nickel anode, and for the rhodium, I'm going to use a stainless anode. The reason is that when the nickel strike goes on, that's going to allow it to actually make the surface ready to take on the white, the rhodium, and it'll allow some nickel to actually give a nickel base to it. And when it goes into the rhodium, we don't want nothing coming off the anode, but rather it just serve the positive frequency, and it'll pull over to the negative, which you'll see in a minute, and you'll see the ring actually go from a rose gold to a rhodium color. So let's go ahead and set the voltmeter to its proper amperage. Okay, so for nickel strike to start off, we're going to need a volt of 2 volts at 1.6 amps. Now, when I click output, that's going to give us 0, and only when we actually take the two lines and we cross them will we actually see that amperage meter changing. So let me see if I can do this with one hand here. Okay, we're going to cross them, and you can see how it actually will start registering. Okay, so that's all we're going to do. Okay, so now our amp meter is all set. We're going to go ahead and get the nickel strike and the rhodium in here. Let's get the nickel strike first. Gold Plating Services makes a really good product if you guys are looking for different chemicals. This is Woods Nickel Strike. Highly recommended. It really helps, especially if you're doing stainless steel and plating harder to plate metals. Our rhodium, for that one, I like Super Bright. Super Bright makes a really nice rhodium. And we're going to go ahead and get that in there. Make sure you're always wearing gloves. Also, if you're, my shop is open right now, so I'm fine. But if you're in an enclosed area, you definitely want to have a respirator on. Not a bad idea to have eyeglasses. Most of these are cyanide based, and when they're actually activated, they are going to produce a cyanide gas, and it's real easy for you to take just a quick whiff of this and it'll just knock you out. So just be careful. Just know that that's always a possibility if you got an enclosed workshop. All right, your anode. Now, I simply engrave these because they all look very similar, whether stainless, nickel, anything. I want to make sure I know exactly what I'm working with. This one I've got engraved. It says stainless rhodium. So I know, again, so I don't cross-contaminate, that this is my stainless steel anode for rhodium only. And so I won't put that in anything else. It's like with my 24 karat gold, I use stainless steel also, but that's never going to go in anything but rhodium. All I have up here is regular tap water just to clean it off. Really distilled water is what you should be using, but haven't had any issues other than that. This is going to be our nickel strike. And we're going to go ahead and get the nickel strike in here, which is a nickel anode. And now let's get a copper line because it's a great conductor. And we're going to use that to hold the rings together. Now you can do multiple rings at once. One may actually finish before the other, and if that happens, you need to take it off because you can create burn marks. So to help prevent that, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to tie tight right here. I'm going to be very loose with it so I can move it around while it's in the liquid. At the same time, you can see I didn't put the second ring on here, but rather I tied it so that the second ring is going to come up here closer to the top. That'll give us some space between the two rings, so again, we don't get the burn marks. Go ahead and tie these all together, and that's how you set up for multiple rings. And you can go ahead and do 7, 10 rings at a time. All right, now we've already got this set up. You saw that we're on 2 volts at 1.6 amps. We're going to go ahead and put the positive on your anode always. Your negative is going to be on your copper line or your ring, whatever you're plating. And the way this works is that the electricity that's going through this anode is going to make the, in this case, nickel strike, which is basically a nickel base with chlorine. And it's going to chase down to the rose gold in this case. It's going to prepare the surface area so that it'll take better when I finally move it over to the rhodium. Same exact thing. The anode is going to force the rhodium to chase down the positive, or rather negative lead, positive to negative. Positive is going to go over through an alternating current, and it's going to force all the rhodium into the pores that are created on this, on your 2 rings. So they're nicely spaced. And we're going to go ahead and get a dip on these so that you know that you've got activation, and you can see that nothing's really going on other than some very slight bubbles right now. Go ahead and check your meter, and you can see that you got contact because now you see amps moving. The voltage meter isn't going to ever move. It's not going to fluctuate, but the amperage meter is. Now, the closer I bring those coins, or rather I'm saying coins, but excuse me, those rings to the anode, the stronger that amperage meter is going to get. You're also going to see that the amperage is actually moving up. The reason it's moving up is it's getting more and more activated. You'll see that it's actually starting to bubble a little faster. Well, that's what I'm watching for. Yeah, I want it to get to a point where there's an active bubble moving all around that surface. That means it's actually prepped and ready for taking on the rhodium. This is where a lot of people make mistakes, and by not getting enough of the nickel strike put on there, it prevents the plating from actually taking on really well. And I definitely put a lot of plating on. I usually do about 4 times more than what your typical retailer or jeweler would put on. So you can see it really starting to activate faster and faster. I'm not moving the amperage myself. It's actually just doing it by itself. And I'm going to go ahead and check those out. Okay. Now, it was definitely time to take it out because you can see that some of the black marking. Do you see the black on there? I mean, that's not what you want. That's actually a good thing that you got to see this. That's what it looks like when it actually starts to take on a burn. So making the video, I took a little too long leaving it in there. Not a big deal. I'm going to take some stainless steel and brush that off. I'll put it back in here and we'll be fine. Okay, I just got through rinsing this off with water again. This is why I've got the gloves on, is because it is cyanide based and it will absorb through your skin, and we want to prevent that. Let's go ahead and get some stainless, and we're going to go ahead and just wipe down the surface until it's clean again and we get that black burn off of there. Remember, you're only going to make your ring as bright as the color behind it. So if I've got that black behind there, even though I'm putting a rhodium over the top of it, it's going to have like a gray look to it. So if I get this nice and clean, especially with if I did a silver strike, a silver before this, it would even be all the better. Okay, you can see that we've removed the black on that one. Let's go ahead and get this one. I want you to notice how when I did these in rose gold, I'm actually using still wool and it's not coming off. I put a pretty thick coat on, like I said. So my customers have a whole lot less tendency to return them for fading and that kind of problem. I just really don't ever get that problem. Okay, now we've cleaned it up really nice, and we want to go ahead and do one more dip in the nickel strike just to make sure that it's really set. Now, you saw how fast it was bubbling earlier. It should continue to do that, and this time we'll be able to pull it out real fast and move it over to the rhodium. Again, I'm going to go ahead and clean these off a little bit with some water. The reason I'm doing that is I don't want the still wool to be in there. It'll end up being left behind inside some of my solutions, and my solutions won't last that long. Okay, so we got our positive to our anode, and we're going to go ahead and keep that at 2. That's 2 volts with 1600 amps. And this one should actually activate a lot faster. Keep the alligator clip out of the solution. And I'm going to see if I can get my hand out of the way so you can see what's going on. Okay, that's all we want. Go ahead and clean that off in water again. All right, here's what we got. These are all prepared and ready to get going into the rhodium. Let's go ahead and drop these in rhodium. I've got my alligator clip out of there. I haven't put the positive on yet because we need to change the volts. We want to go up to 4 volts on this one. And we're going to leave the other at 1600. So 4 volts, 1600 amps. Go ahead and set output, ready for volt. All right, and change your red alligator clip over to the rhodium solution anode. And just like the other one, we're going to start seeing slow activation, and it'll start getting a lot faster as it takes on the rhodium. Again, we're going to watch this. We don't want to go too far because it's going to take on a really nice silver, which is the color of rhodium. It's just going to be a little brighter, have a little bit more whitish tint. And when you go too far, it's going to turn black on you again. So periodically take it out and take a look at it. So I could see that, okay, the original rose gold is starting to take a little bit. Now this could take you anywhere from 1 minute to 5 minutes, depending on how well this was cleaned off. Some of the steps I normally would do, I didn't show you in this one, but it was done. You definitely have to wash your rings with soap water, and after soap water, you need to use a steam cleaner to make sure that they're steamed off. That's to get off all the oils and anything that might be on them. Now you can see over here, this one's starting to turn really nice and silver. This one's taking a little bit longer, but it's because this one's thinner. So I'm probably gonna have to take that off sooner than this, so it doesn't burn. You can see exactly what I'm talking about there in the way the rhodium's taking on the smaller one faster than the larger one. Periodically move them around. Keep that alligator clip out of there, out of the solution. Let me back out of this and take a look at what we got. Very nice. Okay, strip some of this off. Okay, we're looking really, really good. I see a lot of shine. Let's go ahead and clean that off with some water. Hit it with the still wool a little bit because that will bring out more of a mirror shine. And we'll take a look at this one last time. Just rinsing it off. Hopefully you got a good view of this. I'm going to give it a little bit of a buff on the inside. All right, a good idea is to use a microfibered cloth. Just clean it up, get any oxidization that's on there off. Just cleaning this up. My cloth is wet. You just use some regular distilled water. We got a beautiful set for you, Janice. Hope you like them. And hey, listen, if you guys haven't been here before, and if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe down below if you like what you've seen, and if it's been helpful. Or check out some of my other videos. Just check it out. I do give away on about once a month prizes and discount coupons, and I give away free rings. But more importantly, obviously, I'm trying to build a community, and I'm striving my best to hit the 5,000 mark on subscribers. And if you could help me do that, I'd really appreciate it, and I'll keep making these videos. All right, you guys take care. God bless. You guys have a wonderful day.